All right, welcome back. So let's get into it. Wafula, are you happy now?
Yeah, I'm okay now because I can see Mumias and Nzoia inside here next year.
Very well.
Okay.
Very well.
And also we grow tea.
You grow tea?
Yeah, we grow tea.
There's no tea in Western.
In Transoia, there is tea.
Transoia, there is tea.
A bit of tea.
And coffee. A bit of it. We all know
coffee.
No, tea. When you go to Kapsara tea factories, they're producing a lot, massive.
And we have coffee as well.
And we export. Really? Actually, the best we export. Okay. I'll bring a packet of it from.
That's something new to us.
From Transoia.
Okay. So let's come back now that we all have our cups of tea. Apart from me, it's okay. I'll take care of that later on. But then, what happened last week? Just also give you time to also get into it. So where do we draw the line between governance and development? Because it seems that Wanjiku is not going to have that time to rest. When you heard what Honorable Odinga said over the weekend in Manzoni, he said there comes a time when everything should just calm down, politically speaking. And, you know, politicians to go back to their corner and deliver to Kenyans. Then when the right time comes, it will be the turn of Kenyans now to make a decision. But it seems that is not what's on the paper.
Yeah, you know, Victor, Raila has been in this field for quite some time. Now, when he has seen that that point that continuous politicizing is costing this country, because previously, when he was opposing to Moi, he made Moi on campaign mode throughout. Later on, when he was against Kibaki, he made Kibaki on campaign throughout. Now he has learned that making a president, a sitting president, on a campaign mode throughout, then he will also concentrate on campaign. Finally, there is no development in the country. He will be using the resources, taxpayers' money on movement. And imagine when the president goes to, like your home village, my brother, where that is in Kitui.
Kitui, yeah.
Kitui. How many fleet of vehicle goes there? The cost of fuel.
Hundreds.
And also advanced team that will occupy the all accommodation in Kitui town. That is the state funds.
And that's an economy.
That is economy. Also eating, preparation for the president. Just a visit of one day. It's massive. If you take that money, 3 visits can build at least 10 kilometers of tarmac road. So putting the president on a campaign mood throughout, it's a cost on our taxpayers. It's a cost on us.
But who is putting another? He's the one putting himself.
You know, when Mount Kenya started after exit of Rigiji, Rigiji started putting president on a campaign mode. You understand? So the president has started moving out. So moving out actually will not concentrate on any development.
But I think that started way back even before the fallout. The visits across the country has been happening.
The rooftop.
Sorry?
The rooftop campaign started way earlier.
No, it started shortly and then it went down. It went down. I think now the president now realized that now I need to work. But after exit of Rigiji, he has started again. Now who is suffering? It is us, taxpayers.
Let me put it this way. Whereas I agree with my good friend, probably the addition will be, if you get into that position and that space, you know what you're getting yourself into. You're going to lead people who you know or ought to know. And therefore, it can be an excuse that you're not developing the country because you'll be put on a campaign mode. Far from it. In fact, the fact that there's mobilization towards campaign is the time to show what you've done. And you should be able to show people, this is the road that I've built, this is the industrial development that I have brought, and these are the jobs that I've created. Honestly, right now what I've had constantly, consistently, persistently, continuously is being told, there is housing project here, artisans have been employed. I have never seen myself. We've brought Mumias, a new factory in Mumias, a sugar factory, the tea factory, we brought this, no. Number two, you see, an issue of development is an issue of fact. So it's not a perception. We have to see. We have to feel. The economy is felt. It's, of course, we're not Kenyans are not economic analysts, so that they sit down and look at the demographics and look at the patterns and look at the figures. No, but they feel it. They'll complain because they feel it. The price of unga will be felt. The price of this will be felt. The cost of living is felt. In fact, the complaint is on account of the actual evidence of feeling of Kenyans if they are complaining. But let me put it this way, just probably to rationalize this discussion, would be that the general influence the specific. So the general population of Kenya will influence the results, meaning the result effect of an election, that is the leadership. So the leaders that we have are certainly from the general public. So the behavior of the public is what eventually then we get as a result. But again, the specific, I mean the result mirrors the general, and that's probably the other argument to it. Meaning therefore, if and I'm sorry to use this argument, but I have to use it. If there are cows, the one cow removed from a herd of cows remains a cow. If there are angels, one angel removed from a group of angels remains an angel. And these leaders are therefore Kenyans. The indiscipline in that leadership is a Kenyan indiscipline. And therefore, the campaign political, constant political political and bickering and everything in this in Kenya is what Kenyans really are. Like I've said, there's a whole economy in politics. But again, the constitution is an interesting factor that defines leadership, the value of leadership,
yes,
and also separates citizens and leaders. It separates. It distills, in fact, the behavior of a leader or a leader politician, if I have to call him that way, vis-a-vis the Kenyan. If you get into leadership, then you succumb and submit yourself into the delineation of Article 10 of the Constitution. Integrity, accountability, and all that we need to mention. And all governance issues. And therefore, like I've said, a cow of the general, the specific remains a cow, but you have a higher calling. So you can therefore blame yourself because you came out of a herd of cows. You must be different. Meaning you have to either be different or behave differently, or even pretend to be different.
Yes.
In a sense, therefore, if you choose to develop or to show cause on development, you definitely must show cause on development.
Do you think Kenyans understand the difference between politics and governance? All of you?
There's a thin line, and let me just
because it seems that's where politicians take advantage.
No, it's not an advantage.
It's not. So.
It's not taking an advantage. Isn't politics part of oversight? Isn't it part of oversight? Because Kenyans then are said to be politicking throughout, but what are we politicking? Look at the Gen Z's argument, for instance. What are they asking? It's part of politics, yes, but they're asking for accountability. Kenyans will politic throughout, yes, but it is their oversight role, and in fact, they are right under Article 1 of the Constitution. So they constantly cajole, they put the politician on his toes, and that is not to tell him to campaign. It is cheap to start campaigning just because you're being put into accountability and the crowd is hostile unto you. I think what is happening is, I think what should be happening is, when there is a call for accountability, you should be able to show cause. You're accountable, that you're accountable to the people, and therefore show us as a member of parliament, for instance, what you've developed. And if you haven't, then you start campaigning, and that's a way of running away from accountability.
So there is no difference between, Mark, you're saying there is no confusion between politics and politics and,
you see,
and governance.
The nature of the...
Because you and I would understand the difference.
Yeah, you see, the nature of what you're asking, what you're asking is something that concerns politicians. So politicians...
What exactly?
We are talking about governance.
Yes, yes.
But you see, you cannot separate governance from the personalities that are involved in governance.
Great.
And that is the politicians. And it is in the nature of a politician to politic. But what I'm saying is, what I want to say is this. There can be no excuse whatsoever for lack of development. There shouldn't be.
Yeah.
On the contrary, there shouldn't be. Why? Because everything is happening that is supposed to be happening. While we are politicking, Kenyans are still paying taxes. KRA is still raising revenue for development. So it's not like in economics. You know, it's actually supposed to be like in economics. All other factors, it's not like in economics. In economics, say all other factors staying constant. But you see, everything is moving. It's dynamic. It's now in the responsibility of the leader to keep tracking everything. While you are politicking, make sure that you are providing development to the people. Because at the end of the day, when they will ask you to account for it, you will not use their attendance of your political rally as an excuse to justify why you did not offer them development. So everything is continuing. While the president is going on his tour, like he's saying, he's politicking, KRA is still raiding people's shops and asking them to pay taxes. So you cannot say because the president is campaigning, that's why there's no development. We can't have. All of them are supposed to happen simultaneously. Everything is supposed to happen. Well, you cannot use one to excuse not playing the other role. No, so everything must be happening.
But then now, what does Wanjiku have to gain out of this? Because with politics, it's basically what politicians do to retain that power. And now governance is now what they do with that power they're being given.
Let me tell you something. This is probably one of the most informed societies in any generations, because we have information that is available, readily available online. So what is happening is that we have a heightened sensitivity and awareness to rights and expression that is unmuzzled. Everybody, when something happens in Nairobi, within 10 minutes, everybody knows across the country, because now we have cheap smartphones. Even in the villages, you will find a young man in a village walking on foot in bare feet, but he has a smartphone and he's on Facebook.
Right.
When you post something in Nairobi, you say, President amefanya hapa, amepigwa mawe hapa Wajir, someone in the village already knows within 10 minutes. So everything that is happening in Kenya, Kenyans are aware. Okay? So, and just like Ndugu George said, the people keep on cajoling. Once they sense there's something that is not going right, they make their knowledge of that known. Now it's now the responsibility of the leader to maneuver their way, while at the same time to make sure that they keep tracking the vision that they had for the country. So you cannot throw away or take your sight off the vision, saying, I was distracted by people who are protesting in Kisumu. No, it's the responsibility of the leader. One of the responsibilities of leadership is to cast the vision, to make sure that the vision is clear, especially to the team that is helping you to implement that vision. While you've had news and you're being briefed, but you remind your team, hey, this is the vision, this is the goal, let's keep at it. So we are doing that, but at the end of the day now, when 2027 comes and Kenyans want to mark the script, you will tell them, yes, I went on development tours, but this is what I promised you people. So far, we have managed to achieve 70% of it, but because of the challenges, due to unavoidable circumstances, we were not able to achieve everything. But you will give an account. At the end of the day, you must give an account.
Kenyans are
You've
funny.
given another script. It's like you're part and parcel of whoever is scripting this.
You see, Victor,
What has been scripted?
You see, Victor,
I'm just analyzing it.
you see, Kenyans are good, Victor.
Yes.
I remember when Moi left to Kibaki, people sang, yote inawezekana bila Moi. In a short duration of almost 4 months, we miss you, Moi. We miss your politics. When Kibaki exited, we said, oh, sasa umetuletea nani huyu? Kibaki has done a lot.
Which is true.
They said, they have, Kibaki have built a super highway. We have never seen this before. It was a fact, yes. But now when Kibaki went, we got to Uhuru. Later on, we said, Uhuru is doing nothing. He's just sitting in State House. When Uhuru left, we said this guy had done a massive road construction, which is a fact. He brought us expressway. Anyway, I'm a user of expressway. I enjoy it. And so many roads, anyway. Now Ruto is here. People are talking differently. I don't know when he will leave. We need a legacy from him when he leave, when he exited the stage. That Ruto did this and this and this. But from where I sit, Kenyans and me as a politician, you know, I want to be heard. I want to be, you know, that is where I earn money. Politics is, that is my office. Eh? Without politics, I feel like somebody has snatched my office. Eh? When you block my mouth, and this mouth makes me earn money, people vote for me to be somewhere to get money, then it won't work. So they want to use all means to ensure that they get good money, go back to the village, mobilize. Even when you see the way you said, my friend, when you see that gathering, it's mobilized financially. That group is mobilized. So when you said that you were in a supermarket and Mheshimiwa came, everything was a standstill, people wanted some little handouts. Now I give you an example with my colleague, my former colleague, the president. You know, I was in the force, the president of Burkina Faso. You know, there is no politics there. There is no politics. People are seriously working. Now, when you want to exit from the stage and hand over to civilian regime, countrymen are refusing. They say, just continue, please. So we want that thing also to happen in Kenya, which I don't think it will happen any soon.
I want to draw some comparison here. Mark Ndingo, again, you can also comment on this, gentleman. When you compare, you all agree with me that the former president, that is the late President Mwai Kibaki, I don't know why we keep on referring to him. Perhaps he was the SI of politics and governance in this country. Rarely would we see the president doing rooftop around the country. It was on rare occasions. You would, did you see Mwai Kibaki?
No,
rooftop?
he didn't. He didn't do rooftops.
He did a rooftop.
In fact, he ignored politicians for the longest.
Right.
He was a politician, but he ignored a lot of
So
people.
how do we, yes, I know all politicians have their own, you know, style of doing things, but we still talk about President Mwai Kibaki posthumously, what he did, and it's going to happen for the longest time. Let's talk about free primary education. We are talking about it to date. But there is no day that he went somewhere and talked about it. Everything was happening behind the scenes. So what really works? What really works, Mark? I mean,
just a moment on that one.
Yeah.
Last time when I was here, Victor, I said this, that it is time the advisors of the president to advise him to stop rooftop speeches campaign. Because right now, anywhere he goes and either launch something or promise something, people will say, Wongo. I remember that road from in Isiolo. That road, the contractors on side is doing it. I'm a consultant on that road. When he said the same people of Isiolo saying Wongo, and the road is being tarmacked. You see,
so there's a danger to that.
So there is a danger to that, and also, I think this is the time whereby the president can just go and commission, leave alone speeches, come back to the office.
I think the kind of leaders we elect, I think I'll go with. I think I have a problem with that. Because at the point of election, Wajiku elects a leader to go and serve a certain, for a certain period.
Yes.
And many times, our elections are decided by emotions, not on manifesto, ideologies. And that's why you find many times we get it wrong. And we all know we cannot be, our leaders cannot be the same, because if you compare the presidents we have had for the last years since we got independence, you'll find that Kibaki will come out as one of the leaders who got to the presidents and starts to work for the people. And that's why you'll find many times you ask any Kenyan, who is your best president ever, they'll always mention Kibaki. Why? Because Kibaki did not go to, he was not elected to go and do politics. But it's something I think we need to change on the election day. Because if you say you are going to be elected and immediately you are elected, you start campaigning, then that's where you miss the point. Because you have, for example, a president has ministers, he has his cabinet.
Yes.
He has a minister for roads. The work of a president is to delegate. You elect a president, you elect a minister for roads. Anytime you want to launch a project, whether in Garissa, in Bugoma, you only need to use that minister to do the launch. And you spend less because you don't need to carry all the cabinet to tour, calling that tour a development tour, and you have everybody in that area. So if you want to work for the people, let the ministers do their work. Leave the minister for finance to do his work, minister for trade to launch those markets, minister for health to launch those hospitals, and then the work of the president will be to remain at the State House and to get those things the president is supposed to do, and leave the minister to do their work. Okay. So I think that's where we miss the point, because like in our current situation, we have a president who wants to be everything. He wants to launch the roads, he wants to launch the CDF projects, he wants to launch the hospitals. And where do you leave your ministers?
Okay.
They remain to be spectators.
Where do you leave your ministers? Mark, where do you even leave your members of parliament? I mean,
you see.
Okay. The president said that he allocated 500 million shillings to complete that bridge in Kangemi. Well, was that work of the president to do that? Or how is the president itinerary being drawn whenever there is? I know probably you might not, not speaking for the president, but then...
No, I don't work for the state.
Exactly.
I'm not an employee of the state.
But how should it happen? When you talk about public policies and service delivery and even state ideologies, how does it really work?
Victor, I agree with my brother Mark here, Mark X.
Mark X, and then Mark 2.
Mark X, that
yes.
Most Kenyan leaders are elected through an emotional process, and thank God is a product of an emotional process, elected as a member of a county assembly through an emotional process. And just going before I come to this,
yes,
you know, you mentioned about President Kibaki. I think it is important when we have a conversation such as that to be able to put everything into context so that we have the full picture. When Kibaki took over from Moi, the national debt was not even 1 trillion. It was not. Now, when Kibaki came in, took over from Moi, remember, he just taken over from Moi, and Kenya had been denied aid by the Bretton Woods institutions, IMF, World Bank, and all those. They had blacked out Kenya. Yeah. So during the time of Moi, he was not receiving any of that money. Why? Because Moi said he didn't want to be manipulated. Remember the story of the structural adjustment programs and the privatization of public parastatals and all those kind of things, privatization. Moi had refused those conditions. And so the World Bank, the Bretton Woods Institution, the development pass, they shut down the funding. So Moi, everything was shut down. So it looked like Moi was doing nothing, but Moi was actually working hard to protect our national interests, not to be taken off. So when Kibaki came in, now he decided to play ball. Now the funding resumed. So that is when now it seemed like now finally tumeanza kuona maendeleo. You see, so that then people are able to appreciate that. When Kibaki left, he left our national debt standing at around not even 3 trillion. It was not even 3 trillion. So it was 2 point something trillion. And the main flagship project, the Thika Superhighway. But let's also not forget that it's also during Kibaki's time that we had some of mega scandals. Things like Anglo leasing and all those things happened during his tenure. But what people say, we can see Thika Superhighway. So that is always the downside to it when you are dealing with politicians. Now, when Uhuru took over, by the time he left us, he had even gone to Parliament to ask them to lift the lead.
Yes.
On the borrowing. It was past 10 trillion. So when people don't and what was left, the major one is the expressway. But you see, the common Wananchi don't use the expressway. You see, they say we can see something, but they don't use it.
Okay.
So now when Ruto came in, people are saying, "Ay, Uhuru at least alifanya kitu." Ruto, but you see, you are judging Uhuru served his 2 terms, 10 years. But I believe by 2032 we will be able to appreciate what Ruto. I suppose we will be able to appreciate what Ruto will have done.
2037 elections.
What do you appreciate? Victor, I don't.
We have a 5-year cycle.
But then coming to the president's itinerary, the president's itinerary, just in 20 seconds, 10 seconds.
Before to break.
Let's take a quick one, and then when you come back, I'm still going to give you more time.
The itinerary still. I want to say something
exactly.
about the itinerary.
Our numbers are all 0716 103301. 0716 103301. Politics and development, what do you think is happening in the country? Should politicians just take a backseat and work for you? Or probably, is it working for you in your constituency, wherever you are? Talk to us. We'll be right back shortly. Stay with us.
Greetings in the name of the Most High, Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice, we
have to do it twice.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday from 10 p.m. and a rerun every Tuesday from 2 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
The FIFA World Cup 2026 Africa Qualifiers match schedule is up for match day 5. In Group F, the Gambia will host Harambee Stars on Thursday, 20th of March from 10 p.m.
Shown, and which may show here. And yes, the breakthrough's there for Kenya.
Catch the action live from Alassane Ouattara Stadium in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, live and exclusive. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Welcome back with the four gentlemen. George Keith, advocate of the High Court, Mark Chakara. I call them, today is Mark 2 and we have Mark X, because I have two Marks on set.
The latest brand is Mark X.
Mark X.
Yeah, he's the latest.
He's the latest.
He's the latest kid on the block.
Latest kid on the block, right.
Yes.
And of course, Wafula Mutachu, who is the Ford Kenya chairperson, Trans Nzoia County. So, gentlemen, I want us to close this discussion now. You want to talk about the itinerary?
Yeah, you mentioned something about,
yes.
you said something about Kangemi. You know, whenever the president is going somewhere, if there is something he's going to say to launch or to, he knows that people will ask, why has this not been done? He's always prepared in advance. He's always briefed. He said, so far this is the progress of this project, so that when people, you know, the people will ask, this bridge has been hanging here for years now, since they constructed it, the Kangemi one. The president knows it's going there. So he will have to ask, what is the status of this project? So that people don't start shouting at me, daraja imaliziwe. No, he will tell them, hii daraja imekwama kwa miaka mbili, lakini now the politician now kicks in.
Imetenga.
Tumezungumza na daraja itamalizwa. And the people, that's now the nature of politics now. Now he gets his dose, he goes home and rests, knowing that amefurahisha watu wake.
Okay. Yes. So, fair enough. So, in one word, Wakili. So, who is, at what point should the politicians start governing and stop politicking?
At no point.
Is it even possible?
Well, I think they are reacting to, like I said, they're like to the population where they come from. Like he described, the president reacts to what he expects when he goes to a certain place. Even if he expects hostility, he addresses the hostility in his speech or in the manner that he behaves. I do think that we should not fall short of politics in this country, because I do attach politics to Article 1 as one of the means upon which we oversight on the leadership. That is one. Number two, it's a way of expressing ourselves, because if Kenyans are bottled and cannot talk, then we have alternative means of doing it. It happened in 2007 and 2008. It shouldn't happen again. So if you give people the liberty to express themselves and you call it politics, which it is, then it's fine, because that is the only way when people congregate and direct the minds in a national psyche. And more importantly, I do think that people should be allowed to talk, to politic, because that is the only way you can know the communication from the public through whatever means, whether social media or formal forums. However, it is not an excuse. Never has it been, will it ever be, that you don't do your work just because people's decibels and political decibels are the highest. You must work and you must compliment. If you get in that space, you should know who Kenyans are.
Right.
They will talk and talk at you, but you must develop.
Could it be the reason why, gentlemen? We saw what happened yesterday. Jackson Ellis blocked the politicians from speaking in church yesterday, and he gave actually a direction that moving forward in all the churches, ACK, there'll be no more politician who will be allowed to politic in church. We'll get that clip shortly. But then, so coming back to that, church and politics. Mark, I'll be a bit unfair and biased.
Super problem.
What do you make of that? It is not the first time we are hearing of such kind of declarations.
No, of course, it's not the first time. The Archbishop is my bishop, my Archbishop, and I respect the pronouncement he made. However, there are realities that are beyond just a declaration. Like he says, in the nature of men, they will, because this is not the first time such a pronouncement has been made. Not by Ole Sapit alone. Even Ole Sapit has made them several times from the time he took office, the Archbishop. And so Kenyans, by nature, like I said, everything is politicized. A funny way Kenyans and their politicians will find a way around that. They've always found a way around it. So how the church is going to enforce it is another thing altogether. You know, the problem is when a leader comes and they say, Mheshimiwa salimia watu tu. Now, you see, for a politician, salimia watu tu, kumbuka Archbishop alisema hakuna siasa. There is no way a politician will just salimia watu and not politics. It's just, there's just a way, at the end of the day, politicians, Kenyans and their politicians will find a way around it, and we will forget that this pronouncement was ever made. It's always happened. So, but it is still a good thing to do, to make sure that the sanctity of the altar and the house of worship is maintained. I think that's one thing.
Yeah.
But the interaction between the politics and the church is something that is you cannot lock one out of the other. It's a symbiotic relationship. Each feeds into the other. The church provides the moral global north, if you may, and the politicians have to find a way to align themselves to it. But the responsibility now lies with the church leaders to make sure that they maintain that position and that none of them becomes the weak link in the whole setup.
Okay. I think somebody said that because there's a ready crowd for them to talk to, because mobilizing a crowd is economically straining. Mark X, when we talk about the issue to do with the church and politics, of course, you know, it goes back way back in the years. It's not something new even to us. The likes of Alexander Muge fought for that. You know, the likes of other bishops who are there before also stood in the line to put the government, you know, right on check. But we still find that politicians will always have a way of doing their own things. Either, given time, kusalimia tu watu tu. But the moment you hold that microphone, kusalimia tu watu would mean kusalimia watu vizuri. Does it really pain someone, or what harm does it really cause a politician just to say the way it was done yesterday, just to say hi to the crowd and sit? Or just say, today is a Sunday, I'm going to church, I'm going to pray, give my offering the way it's supposed to be and go back home? Does it really hurt?
For any change to happen, it has to start from somewhere. And politicians being politicians are always selfish. And a politician will go for something that will be for his own beneficial interests. But I think with the current situation, I think we will be going somewhere, because if we stop politicians from politicking in church, we stop them from politicking in funerals, I think it will reduce this too much politicking in one way or the other, because very few politicians will want to have a rally where they can articulate their issues. And if you deny them if you deny them politicking in church and in funerals, I think it is going to solve some of the problems we have with politicians.
Yes.
Because if you look at the situation we are in currently, whatever politics we hear them from the church, either from the church or from the funeral.
Okay, let's listen to what happened yesterday during the Sunday service.
Meanwhile, political leaders including Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who attended the event, left without uttering a word following the church's decision to ban political speeches at the pulpit.
Kanisa haitakuwa platform ama mahali ambayo malumbano ya siasa ambayo inaendelea kugawanya nchi hii itaendelea kusungumziwa.
Short and precise. And so that congregation was well attended by politicians. It was well attended from what was captured. But, you know, how powerful is the church when it comes to politics in this country? How powerful?
Let me tell you, Victor.
Or let's just say religion.
Let me tell you,
General.
Victor. This pronouncement has been made by Elizabeth, but it is very, very difficult to implement it. Why? Because of economical constraints from the churches. And also the way my friend has said, Makex has said, in the funerals. These are politicians who goes to fund the funeral. They have produced, they have given out some money to arrange for that funeral. He's coming to attend the funeral.
Right.
He donated, he contributed to that funeral. And then you deny him a chance to speak.
Investment.
Definitely. Even if the family will rebuke at you. Same to the churches. Same to the churches. These politicians have contributed, they have been invited for several rambays to build those churches. And now you want to say that they cannot come and speak in that church. Well, it's a challenge. But I remember one day, I went, during campaign time, I went to a Catholic church in Kitale. The father knows me very well. And after the mass, he told congregant, Mutacho is my best friend. Kindly join me up outside there because he want to talk to you people. I'll be there also. So don't leave. After the mass, don't leave. Wait for Mutacho to talk to you people. I'll be joining him. So I was a bit relieved because I thought now I'm shut out. I will not speak. So when I went outside, actually they had arranged somewhere a table which for me to stand on and address the gathering. It was okay. With the blessing of that father, I enjoyed the speech. I mean my prayers to the congregant.
Okay, let me
so
ask you,
it can be the same.
So let me ask you, how does it feel when you go to a church and you're not allowed to speak to the congregation? How does it feel?
Do you think you'll see so many politicians in church again? And in fundraising, in fundraising again?
That's a good
they
question.
will not.
So how does it feel?
Yeah?
How does it feel?
You know, politicians, they want to retain their popularity within that confined area. Now, for them to be relevant, they need somewhere to at least to meet the people with less expense. Now in church it's less expense.
Okay.
There's no expense.
Yeah, less expense. In a funeral it's less expense. He has even maybe given out 20,000 for the funeral arrangement he has contributed. So he'll get the mass and address the mass, sell his policies, then walk away.
Okay. You know what happens is that the religion will say that you'll never see us in the political space. Wakili, you hear them that, you'll not see us in the political podium, fighting for the microphone so that you can start preaching. But why is it that politicians find it easy to go there? Is there something that can be done so that there is an equilibrium point for both sides so that, you play your role, I play my role?
Let me I look at it a bit differently.
Go ahead.
What the good bishop or archbishop say, this is not a forum upon which politicians will come and express their divisive politics. Not politics, divisive politics. And by the way, if from politics, it's where students get their bursaries to go to school, it's where everything good happens. I don't think that statement will have been made. It is made because it's become toxic, and a platform upon which the church then seems to be the platform upon which division is basically expressed by politicians. So the politicians are abusing that platform, not because it's an unavailable platform. They're abusing it. Abusing it means, therefore, that you can express yourself in a manner that does not complement the teachings of the church, whichever church. For instance, What was expressed by the agencies the other day were 20 million shillings were given to the church,
yes,
or purported or promised to a church, in an environment where the president himself had banned giving out or donating money in harambees and public functions. Then it became a conflict because then the Kenyans were questioning why that was happening. And then fast forward to that build-up is why this statement is being made. But I don't think a politician speaking in church is wrong. I don't think a politician going to pray in a public function, especially even at a political rally, and praying for the people and saying, bless you as you continue with your function. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If it was that good, but it's never that, because the bad behavior originally permeates such environment. It is good, therefore, to constantly regulate the conduct of politicians in churches, because then they don't proceed to abuse that platform. But I must say this: there's no way a church you can get rid of politics from church. And there's no way you're going to ban politicians from churches.
Why is it that...
And I'll say this.
Why is it that, Wakili, it's easier for, let's say, our brothers in the Muslim side? Everybody is equal. Whether you're a president, whether you're a minister or what, it's everybody is equal. You go there, have your prayer, and go out.
But I'll tell you this.
Would it be because
I will tell you
there's stringent ways of
I will tell you
doing
this.
things?
I live in that space and in that environment where we have Muslims. The purity of and the sanctity of the mosque is retained. And whether you are the president, you get to a mosque.
So it can also be done in churches.
You will be in the same line and pray like any other person. You will not be given a special seat.
Correct.
What will happen is what he expressed. When you walk out, definitely people will congregate around you and you have the forum to speak to them, not when the prayers are ongoing. I think the sanctity is more expressed with the Catholic Church, and because you don't interrupt Mass. You can't interrupt Mass within the context of Mass until it has ended, because it's programmed in a certain way that one event is sequential to the next. However, in certain churches, therefore, which have the liberty to do it the way they want, is that you can ask someone to come and talk and someone to come and talk. It's not programmed in that way, and that can be stopped because the liberty is there to do so. However, I think that, and we can't regulate that in law. We can put a law that says no politician shall speak in church. We can say that. It has to be regulated over time. When it becomes toxic, then we make such pronouncements.
So this is a question to all of you.
That's why, let me put it this way. That's why it is, for instance, it's available now to make that statement, but I know it's temporary, because politicians will shy away for some time, because then you don't talk to them. But when politics hits this country proper, and it's in the next few days,
they'll go full throttle.
I will speak. I'll be vying, let me tell you, and I will speak in church if I'm allowed to speak, because the platform is available. And I want to use this example for funerals. Then I come to the churches very quickly. What happens when somebody is lost a relative and they can't pick the body from the mortuary to come and bury? They ask for help, and there'll be mchango and stuff like that. But the first port of call will be the local politicians who are there, and the politicians that they know. When you help, for instance, you're given 100,000, therefore you can buy rice and whatever, you can transport the body, and the politicians comes to that home. What is the best way to appreciate that gesture? Because you're at your weakest, is to say, we appreciate you, sir, please say something to the people who have come here.
The mourners.
And the mourners. What will the mourners do? They will listen to the politician. What the politician do? Talk to the mourners. What is the interaction there? It's a political interaction with a politician. And therefore you say, tumekuja, lakini nimeona, I've done this, I've given 100,000, which is true. And then he say, around here, we have had deaths, we have had insecurity, we have had this, and this is how we are dealing with it. Even the chips, by the way, if you look at the program at a funeral or a burial, there is, I think, the family, then the what, then there'll be the local chief, the local this, and that's a culture that we have. How then?
So let's put it this way. So what is the role of religion? Not church alone.
I will tell you the role of religion.
in
I will tell you the role of religion. The role and the business of the state is to regulate conduct and behavior. Okay? By putting laws to say do and don't. We don't regulate morals. The state will not regulate morals. It says yes or no, and that's it. And that's what we have. Lawyers, we have judges, we have that. the church, the first port of call is the morals. Even before you enforce the laws, there must be the moral probity for it or against it. So therefore, if we regulate theft, people must be told that stealing is bad because the Bible says so. And therefore, morality donates to laws.
Okay.
So the first port of call is the moral probity of society towards a good social order that's regulated by law. So the church, then the state, and the church state for that case.
So, Reverend, so these are two good friends.
Yeah,
I mean, church,
Victor.
I mean,
the church.
I'm talking about church and politicians and politics. So these are two good friends. They know each other.
The church is the first estate.
Okay.
The church first, then the state. And going to what the Archbishop said, actually, when you look at the people who had congregated there, remember that is a Makadara constituency. Their local member of parliament is Honorable George Aladwa. He was present. The governor of Nairobi, remember it was during the consecration of the Bishop of Nairobi. So that was the function. So many politicians had congregated there. Those who are opposed to government and those who are now working with government. And now with the pact between ODM and UDA just having been signed the other day, and now that constituency being led by Aladwa, who is also a very fiery politician, I think it was in the wisdom of the bishop and the leadership of the church to make sure that the sanctity of the function that was being attended by these politicians was maintained. He did actually now, the Archbishop did not ban meetings in all Anglican churches. Because remember, Anglican churches, the bishops are independent. There is no bishop who can give an order to another bishop on how to manage affairs in their diocese. So it is now, they meet in the House of Bishops and they think through. If they agree on something, then that's a different thing. But if they have not sat and made a common decision on that matter, then it just remained a wise decision to control a possible fallout or escalation of hostilities during that sacred function that was held at St. Stephen's Jogorod. So that is what happened there. So going forward, I see the bishops having to manage their own affairs in their own diocese independently. So if anything happens there, it's up to the bishop that is responsible. You mentioned something about Reverend Mwai here, having received money. And for me, I see nothing wrong with what Pastor Bishop... Actually, the money was not donated to Pastor Mwai. It was donated to Jesus Winner Ministry. It just happened that the leader is Pastor Mwai. And the church had a project. They have a project. And if you look at the project they are working on, you can see this is a tabernacle, a church that is expensive. It is going to cost over 1.5 billion shillings to construct. So when someone is making noise about 20 million shillings, that's a drop in the ocean. That thing requires a lot of money. And 20 million, not from a local peasant, but from the President of the Republic, that is not much. That money is needed there. I wish the President had pledged more. But
it has to be good money, right?
Exactly.
Or be seen to be good money.
Exactly. So what we are dealing with, we are
different from what Kenyans.
What we are dealing with is the problem of public perception about the source of this money. That is the only problem.
So I think that is what you meant, good money.
Yes. Exactly. But also, if we cannot prove that it is bad money, then what we are left with is mere speculation and public perception based on what the narrative that is being driven about our president.
So, Mark, then you also agree that they're two good buddies. They know each other.
Bedfellows.
Yeah.
So the church and the political landscape, politicians, they know each other pretty fine.
Sure.
You agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that because the churches are made of people. And even from the same churches, we have politicians who rise up to become leaders and politicians in their own making. But I still believe gradually this politics in church can be stopped. Because if we can get Ole Sapiti, talking about stopping politics in church.
Yeah.
We get another bishop from another church, another one from another church. Even if not now, given time, I think it can stop. Because we need also to take cue from other developed countries where you'll find very little, if any, politics in the church. And Kenya is not an exception. I know we are cultured in a way to believe that everywhere you find 10, 20, 100 people, you want to raise your concerns about your aspirations for the leadership you want. But I believe, given time, we will be there. And it can be stopped, even in funerals. Because one thing you should know is if there is a church service and the bishop or any pastor stops politicians from greeting the congregation, the person who is going to be affected more is the person who is aspiring to be a politician. But the one who is elected at that time has nothing to lose because he's already...
Let's take a break. And we come back, please talk to us. We'll also be taking a link from Meru. Remember the swearing in of Honorable Mutuma Methigia, who is going to be sworn in as the new governor of Meru. Will be happening there. Jefferson Maina is on standby. We'll be having that link with him shortly. But let's take a break. What do you think? That pronouncement between church and politicians, Ole Sapit, Archbishop, made that yesterday. What do you think? Talk to us, 0716 103301. We'll be right back shortly. Stay with us.
Pindi tunapowasha vifaa vyetu, tunapata fursa ya kutangamana na wasikilizaji wetu.
Karibu sana thĩinĩ wa tabarĩra ya Rwĩga.
Tunapeperusha utangazaji uliobobea katika habari,
nĩ ũndũ wa macio na mangĩ maingĩ,
burudani,
haha nĩ harĩa tũkoragwo tũkĩigua nyĩmbo mwaki nyĩmbo hota
na hamasisho la kiroho. Usiachwe nyuma. Jiunge nasi kwa safari ya kufana katika 99.5 FM. Shoro FM.
Number 1. Pilau.
Unaweza pika vizuri?
Pilau najua tu nikiwa na kundigala ya pilau.
Sasa unajieka nini?
Kwa gani tunaenda nalo?
Nataka twende ama utaki twende?
Wakati huu tumefuturu. Ni njaa tu imeniingiza. Mimi sitaki kukula.
Wacha kubana nisikie kukotandika.
Big man. Wacha kunisoea, unasikia?
Kuvaa tu kitu kama hii unafikiria mimi ni pia ni wale kumsala.
Umendisira kabisa.
Bwana hata nakurutisia shukrani kwa sababu ulipoenda pale Goligota utamekocha mbele zako ukielekea Goligota.
Hapo mlipofika ni hapo. Weka hiyo sinia chini.
Mimi nilishake wa Kirinyaga parish.
Si lazima mjifanye Waislamu.
All right, welcome back. So, as I promised, I need us to cross over to Meru County. That is one county that has been on the limelight for 2.5 years now. And today, Mutuma Methinga is going to be sworn in as the new governor. The preparation is currently underway. And our reporter, Giverson Maina, is on standby. Giverson, good morning. And I know it has been a long run for Governor Kawira Mwangaza. And finally, it's come to this. What else can you tell us from Meru?
Now we are coming to live from Meru County, where we are expecting the swearing in of the next governor of Meru County, that is the current Deputy Governor Isaac Mutuma, who is said to be sworn in, or rather to take oath of office at 10 a.m., which according to the act of the assumption of governor elect is supposed to be held at about not earlier than 10 a.m. and not later than about 2 p.m. During the day. And this comes after the successful impeachment of Kawira Mwangaza, who was actually his impeachment by the Senate was confirmed by the court last week on Friday. And so today, the people of Meru County will have a new governor by the name of Isaac Mutuma. And without wasting so much time, I just want to speak to a few people here, the locals here, the people who have come to, of course, witness the swearing in of their next new governor. What's your name and what are you expecting today as we have the swearing in of the new governor?
My name is Ariki Gitonga. Mimi ni mkaaji wa Meru County, na siku ya leo tuko na furaha mingi sana kwa sababu tumepata gavana mpya. Wacha tuseme tuko na imani kubwa kwa gavana Mutuma ambaye Mungu alikuwa amechagua kweli, kwa sababu uongozi uliopita wa gavana mama ni uongozi ambao ulikuwa na chuki, haukuwa na upendo, haukuwa na ushirikiano na viongozi. Na siku ya leo tuko na imani ya kwamba gavana ambaye tumepata siku ya leo, ambaye ni si mwingine ni Governor His Excellency Reverend Mutuma, atakuwa mtu wa watu, kwa sababu ameweza kushirikiana na viongozi wengi, ameweza kudumisha amani kwa wale MCA 47. Kupata MCA kwa huo muda ambao amekaa, kuhakikisha wamekuwa pamoja, si mambo mchezo. Kwa hivyo ni kuonyesha ya kwamba huyu ni mtu ambaye ako na ushirikiano na viongozi, kwa sababu maendeleo ya Meru County sasa tunaenda kuyapata kwa uongozi ambao umebaki sasa. Tunaomba Mungu aweze kumjalia ili aweze kutupeleka vizuri. Na siku ya leo tumekuja hapa kwa wingi. Uwaje ushafurika kwa sababu watu walifika hapa kutoka asubuhi saa 12, uwaje ulikuwa umejaa, na ndio maana tunasema ya kwamba siku ya leo Gavana Mutuma kwa Wakenya, Meru itakuwa account of shame again. Tunaomba sasa tutakuwa benchmarking, kwa sababu Mutuma anaenda kupeleka kaunti ya Meru mbele kwa maendeleo, kwa usawa, kwa kila kitu. Kwa maana tuna imani na yeye, kwa maana yeye ni mtu mcha Mungu na ni kiongozi ambaye ameonekana na performance yake kulingana na mahali ambapo alikuwa amefanya kazi kitambo. Kwa hivyo tuna imani ya kwamba Meru County itaenda mbele, itasonga mbele. Tunaahidi wa Kenya wale ambao wanatutazama ni kwamba Kenya inaenda kusonga mbele, Mungu akuwa mbele na Mutuma gavana.
Asante, wacha tupate maoni ya mwingine. Simama tu hapo, jina lako ni nani na ni kipi ambacho unategemea gavana Mutuma akiapishwa? Ni kazi gani mnatarajia afanya nyinyi kama watu wa Meru?
Kwa majina naitwa Christopher Murithi. Mimi natoka Egembe East Ward. Tunatarajia Mutuma akiapishwa aunganishe wa Meru wote wakuwe kitu moja. MCA waungane, wa Meru waungane, watu wote wasikamane pamoja ili tuweze kusongeza eneo hii kaunti yetu ya Meru mbele. Na kuna kazi ambayo haijafanywa miaka 2.5. Niko na imani Mutuma atatufanyia kazi.
Ni kazi kama gani? Ujenzi wa barabara, stima, ni kitu gani hasa ambacho mnahisi kwamba hakijafanyika kinafaa kufanyika kabla ya uchaguzi ambao unakuja 2027?
Sisi hapa Meru tangu huyu mama Kawira Mwangaza ingie, hatujawahi chimbiwa mabarabara. Tuko hata maji ni shinda, hospitali hakuna dawa, watu wengi hawajawahi ajiriwa, matanate watu wanazaa ovyo ovyo. Tuko na imani Mutuma akiingia, kwa sababu tunapewa 14 bilioni hapa Meru. Hizo bilioni zetu 14 tutafanywa kazi tuone, kwa sababu hizo bilioni 28 tumepewa miaka 2. Hizo pesa zote zimekuliwa na kufanya sarakazi hapa na pale. Tunapewa ngambuti na kupewa na masufuria na kupewa mbulangeti. Sasa kazi ya mbulangeti, kazi ya ngambuti imefika mwisho leo. tuko na imani kwa sababu tumeng'ang'ana miaka 2.5 na Mungu amejibu maombi yetu.
Asante. Tupate maoni ya mwingine pia kwa haraka. Jina lako ni nani na ni kipi unategemea ambacho kitafanyika gavana mpya akiweza kuchukua hatamu?
Asante kwa majina, naitwa James Mwingirwa. Mimi ni mkaaji wa hapa Meru County, Tigania West, na mategemeo yetu kama watu wa jimbo letu la Meru ni kwamba kazi itafanywa vizuri. Hakuna siasa, kutakuwa na siasa ya matusi. Viongozi wetu watafocus kwa kazi saa hizi vizuri, na kama ni barabara zilikuwa na shinda ama masomo, mahali maendeleo yatakikana, tutaona itakuja kwa njia inayofaa, kwa sababu wakati mwingine tulikuwa tunaona gavana anachukua, yule gavana aliyekuwa former governor Madam Kawira alikuwa anachukua pesa ya maendeleo anapeleka kwake, lakini kwa sasa wananchi, hata ukiangalia vile eneo iko sahihi, watu wote wako na amani kubwa sana. They have a lot of peace, kwa maana wanajua Mutuma ataendelea vizuri, ataunganisha Njori Ncheke ambayo Kawira alikuwa amegawanya, ataunganisha viongozi wa kidini, ataunganisha viongozi wa kisiasa, na wale viongozi wote eneo letu la Meru County litakuwa linaongea kwa sauti moja, hata kuenda kwa president, kuenda kubagain for our rights as Meru County. Now we shall be going as a team because we are united. Thank you very much.
Asante. Maoni labda mwingine, kwa maoni yako, jina lako kwanza, maoni yako ni yepi kuhusu kuwa na gavana wa pili kwa muhula moja? Unahisi kwamba Meru County labda gavana ameweza kujaribu kumuondoa kwa mara ya tatu? Hii ni mara ya tatu ambayo ameondolewa, na sasa tunatarajia kwamba gavana mpya aweze kuchukua hatamu za uongozi leo. Shida hasa ya siasa za Meru ni gani?
Asante sana. Siasa ya Meru mahali tulikuwa tumefika miaka 2.5 ambayo imeisha, ni kana kwamba Meru tulikuwa na gavana ambao ni comedian na amepeleka Meru kama comedian, lakini sasa tunashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu, manake gavana ambao anaenda kuingia sasa, Mheshimiwa Isaac Mutuma Ntwithingia, ni gavana ambao tuko na imani na yeye kama wananchi wa kaunti la Meru. Manake gavana tulikuwa naye pale mwanzoni, nimesema ni comedian, yale mambo amefanya hapa Meru yote ni comedian. So kwa sasa najua watu wa Meru tunaenda kupata afueni. Manake sasa tukipata gavana ambao anakuja kwa sasa, ni gavana ambao ataweza kutuunganisha sote, kuunganisha makanisa, kuleta watu wa kaunti ya Meru pamoja, na hasa wananchi alioko kule mashinani anangoja maendeleo, manake tuna imani na gavana ambao anaenda kuapishwa leo. Asante.
And now, as you heard Victor, this is Meru County expecting to swear in a new governor, Isaac Mutuma, who is the current deputy governor of Meru. And of course, we're also expecting, after he take oath of office, maybe a week or 2 weeks, we really do not know, but we're expecting also that he'll pick his next deputy governor of Meru County. And so as we'll bring you this event live at about 10 a.m. when the oath of office is supposed to take place according to the act of assumption of office of governor-elect. My name is Giverson Minor. We're right here in the middle of Meru County, bringing you this event live on KBC Channel 1.
All right, Giverson Minor. Thank you so much, Minor. Gentlemen, you've seen there, the mood there in Meru is quite telling that, Isaac Mutuma is going to be sworn in as per the law between 10 and 2 p.m. as per the assumption of office, law that is set out. And so we expect that to be happening. Of course, Giverson will be giving us that live link and of course in our subsequent bulletins to tell us what is really happening. Gentlemen, because we've run out of time, allowed to ask this question. So what if Kawira Mwangaza goes to court in 1 minute? Because probably she can still appeal this, right?
Yes, she has a right of appeal, still subsisting. The options, one of it is to stay the effect of the swearing in.
Yes.
Meaning, therefore, the effect of the deputy governor taking over as governor can't be stayed as she continues to be, by law, the governor. I don't know why it's taken this long for them to lodge the application, but I'm sure that's being put in place. Eventually, she has the right to be heard at the apex court, and I think that's where it will be headed eventually. But it will be interesting for legal jurisprudence to see whether in leadership you can stay after swearing in, and what is the law within that context, because it's about the constitutionality of that act. Yeah.
Okay, so gentlemen, it will be unfair, but 20 seconds, Mark, 20 seconds, closing remark, 20, kindly.
No, what I see playing out in Meru is a battle of egos. and a typical case of toxic patriarchy.
Okay.
That's my parting shot.
That is less than he's donated your 20 seconds.
Yes.
He's 20 seconds to you.
I think what I can say about Meru is whoever is going to succeed to run the affairs of the county from now should tone down the politics and the rhetoric of Meru people, because the Meru people want development and they want peace.
Thank you very much. Mutacho?
I think 20 minutes, then we close.
We are done. Just closing
then, if that is the case, I just want to congratulate Arsenal yesterday. It runs Chelsea, and so many people with different hearts were praying that Arsenal to lose, but good enough. It was like that. I'm happy.
That is my team.
Confirm that London is still red.
Yes. Team Kuba here.
Yes,
so much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I didn't see that coming. I tried to avoid football for some time, but anyway, thank you so much.
Or is it football politics?
Football, there's all
political football.
Asante sana for watching. I've been having 4 gentlemen. Wafula Mutacho is a politician and also Ford Kenya chairperson, Trans Nzoia County. Mark Ndingo, who is also a political analyst, is also a politician. Mark Echakara, today I had 2 Mark X and Mark 2. They'll decide who take which one. Asante sana gentlemen for coming, and George Kithi, an advocate of the High Court. Asante sana. All right, that's where we end at this point. Good morning, Kenya. Takes a break. We'll be right back with more. Stay with us. Good morning.